I'm so excited to chat with you, but like I was saying, I'm a little bit sad because you're now off the show. I was surprised that your journey ended so early. Were you also surprised?
I was surprised. Yeah, the journey was for me intended to be the all the way to the end to win, as you know. But listen, Jamie, it's a fickle thing, this whole unscripted drama business, and the competition is um, unpredictable. In this case, my fault totally. So unpredictable that I didn't even anticipate the idea that these people weren't even playing. Many of them were not even playing a game. It's all about emotion, and I just wasn't prepared for that at all.
Looking back on the experience and after reliving it by watching the episodes, is there anything that you regret? Is there any way you would have played the game differently or the non-game differently?
Well, sure. There are always things I can learn from seeing what happened behind the scenes and that I wasn't exactly privy to with my engage and things because I do come back, as you'll see. Oh, maybe I come back. I don't know if I can say that. You'll see me later. And I learned quite a bit about New York that if I had known earlier, things might have been different. And that will unfold as the season plays out. But there are also other choices I might have made if I'd realized earlier just how detached from gameplay most of these people were.
What do you think some of those choices would have been? Like what would you have done differently specifically, do you think?
Well, I'm not telling.
Okay. All right, for season three.
It's a funny question. I mean, I get why you ask it, but these are games that we play, and a lot of what I do to win, and I'm just not willing to say specifically what I would do with whom and when and why, because that's part of my gameplay. And there are gamers out there watching these interviews right now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we can't share the secrets, but I do like that you mentioned your relationship with New York. I'm excited to see whatever happens later on this season because for whatever reason, she was so fixated on
Yeah.
you and on your Prince Albert. She mentioned that several times. What do you think it was between you and New York, and why do you think she kept mentioning your Prince Albert? Do you even have a Prince Albert?
Well, I do, and she's not the only one that's so fascinated by it.
Who else is fascinated?
Many folk, I find, are intrigued by the choice. I love it. I absolutely love the thing for lots of reasons that I could go into, but nobody really cared. Um, but she does what she does for lots of different reasons. And I thought initially that she had no reasons, that there was nothing going on there. I hadn't seen her. I didn't even know who she was when I came into the house. And I've since learned that there is more going on and more intention with respect to how she chooses to interact than I ever could have imagined. So I don't hold any of that against her for playing the game the way she plays. That's her thing.
So you think that New York maybe does have more of a game plan than the other people in the house? Like she is tactful when she decides to press into someone and push their buttons.
Well, I wouldn't call it tactful, but I would call it intentional. She's definitely not tactful. But listen, she well, it's a tough bar because if I say, oh yeah, she's playing, well, compared to them, no, of course she's playing. They're not playing. I don't know how to describe it to view. Well, gamers will get it. Most of them were really, truly wrapped up in an emotional journey where they were dealing with the tears and the anger and the disappointment and the insecurities that I feel in order to play these games well, you have to set aside. And none of these villains were setting them aside. So I would say now, knowing what I know, and I think a lot of her fans know, New York was playing the game, and I give her credit for that.
What did you think of Camila putting you up for elimination after you, Candy, and her had gone into that alliance together? I was very shocked, and I thought it was a little sloppy of her because now I feel like,
Little,
well, now all the other villains, I don't know how they could ever trust her.
yeah, you think it was a little sloppy? Oh
It
my
was very
God.
sloppy, and I am a Camila fan. I was very surprised. I was like, girl,
I'll start there. I love Camila.
yeah.
I love the woman, and I respect her enough to have approached her the way I did. But here is a person that I'm talking about. Camila is not yet an expert at these games, and she was learning. And so I didn't take that into account. And she really was cautious and wondering, can she trust me? So to some extent, again, I have to say it's my fault because I didn't help her come to the point where she felt she could trust me sufficiently. She was too skeptical. And as you saw, just kind of threw it against the wall to see what would stick. It wasn't her choices, I don't think, were well planned out, and she did not consider the consequences. And I don't think I'm giving much away when I say I think she's going to regret it.
What did you think of the vote for your elimination being unanimous? I was surprised that every single villain in the house voted for you, especially Victoria after her emotions got the best of her and she was like, Safari, F you, I want you out of the house. And then all it took was for Safari to give her a little bit of sweet talk and she voted for you.
Lucian's got the best of her. That's all that are there.
Oh,
There's nothing beyond that. That's all that exists. No, so I was not surprised to answer your question. In fact, kudos to them who who voted to get rid of me because they all knew that there was no way to save me by the time they went in to vote. So if any of the folk who with whom I was working had voted for me, that just would have been a waste of their efforts. They would have been exposed for having done so. There was just no reason to vote for me, and it doesn't affect me or my. I'm not playing this game with emotion. Like I can see people crying. They all voted for me. Actually, they did. So you'll, but it just, does not faze me in the least. Good for them. That made sense to me. They all should have in order to play their games well.
yeah. Now you're saying it's very easy to detach your emotions from this experience. I think even in the episode you say like I don't really care about any of these people, but I can only imagine that you fostered some sort of affinity for your castmates. Leaving the House of Villains experience, who would you say your favorites were? Do you feel like you have friendships with any of them today?
So yeah, great, all of them. So this is the part that I don't think maybe your viewers, your readers get. I could not care less about a chess piece when I'm playing chess. It's a piece of freaking plastic and it's got a little bubble head and you kick the thing around. That's what I think of these people when I'm playing the game with them. But they're people. And as soon as the game's done, we shared an experience. We spent, a week or more in New York now just doing press. We all get along. And that's hard for others to understand given some of the things, some of the ways in which we interacted during the show. But that's life and that's part of this business. And so yeah, no, I like many of them. I really, really do get along with them and really enjoy them. Each of them has their own qualities that I connect with, and I'm not changing anything I'm saying about them. They still were clueless with respect to the gameplay, but that doesn't make them bad people.
Yeah, yeah, I did. I really did love the instant chemistry that you and Teresa had. Obviously, that became such a moment on social media, very viral, her asking about your sexual preferences. But then another housewife enters the scene, Larsa Pippen, and this last episode, she's recounting that iconic moment when you saved yourself from a shark attack by biting the shark back. She said that it made her think of you as a dangerous person and that maybe she couldn't trust you because you would bite a shark to save yourself. What did you think of Larsa having that assessment? I mean, I always thought you were incredible because you weren't scared of biting a shark back, but what did you think of the way she processed that moment?
So it's a great example of what I'm just saying. That reasoning is so contorted, like she should have been somewhat cautious about me and my game skills. But because I bit a shark, what the living hell has that got to do with anything? That kind of confusion is what I'm talking about. The mixed emotions, the disconnects. But I know something that you will really be interested in. The comments between Teresa and me changed my life.
What do you mean?
That's the first time you as a gay man probably get this that I've ever said, "Hey, I'm a bottom." Not that I've ever hidden it. And now I just realize after that, when the press started airing about that, I have been contacted by more fascinating, interesting, amazing. I've been single now since my divorce, almost 8 years. I have interacted now since this aired with some of the most interesting men from all over the world. I'm going to be in a partnership at some point. I'm betting based on Teresa asking me if I'm a top or a bottom. House of Villains changed my life. I'll bet you.
Wow, that's amazing. Go Teresa,
Crazy.
go you. So now you have all these amazing men sliding into your DMs trying to get in touch with you. And do you know what the best part is, Rich, is that they all know what to expect in the bedroom now.
That is the best part. You get it. No games, no wondering, no disappointments, no anything.
Oh, that's okay. So do you have any dates set up? Have you gone on dates yet with these
Yeah,
guys?
no, I've already been on some. I'm talking. No, you don't understand. It's happening in a way that has never happened in my entire life. My closest friend who's straight and I have gone over this and over this and over this. We've talked for years about why is it that I can't find quality men and move into partnership. Sharing the journey is really important to me. Who knew it was that I hadn't shouted to the world, "I'm a bottom, damn it."
Wow, that's better than $200,000. Come on now.
Way better. And when I won Survivor, I met my first husband in Argentina and was married 14 years. So, actually not when I won Survivor, sorry, when I was on All Stars. I didn't win, but I've got a husband for 14 years who was wonderful.
I love so
So
no matter what, you're always winning. I'm obsessed with that for you.
I am. That's the way I look at it.
Well, speaking of the $200,000, you do open up a little bit in this past episode how, going to prison, fighting legal battles, that kind of left you in a bit of a financial bind. If you had won House of Villains season two, what would you have wanted to do with the $200,000?
Well, so I never anymore talk ever about money, what I wouldn't do, what I will do, what I am doing, forget it. So who knows? It would have been great. How's that for general?
I,
Yeah. So
it would
listen,
have
there are many things I've wanted to do in my life and change other people's lives. And I've been able to accomplish some of them despite what has happened to me. But part of why I talk about what I've endured is because it's true. And I want people to understand that there are consequences to our having as broken a system as we have, one which is so biased. And frankly, there is no reason for what happened to me other than my being a gay atheist and our broken system. And
been.
I can prove that. That's now undeniable. That's just clear. And it's something that's very difficult to prove. But you know, such is life. I'm healthy, I'm fit, I'm active, I'm educated. Life could be worse. It's been awful, but here I sit.
Here you sit, and with probably a new boyfriend, man, partner just waiting in the wings. So you're doing good, Rich.
So looking forward to it. Yeah.
Would
So
you,
enjoying the journey.
yeah, would you be open to getting married again, or is that kind of like one and done for you?
No, very much so. Whatever he wants. I aim to please. That's part of my thing. But for me, I don't care how we structure it. Sharing the journey, that whole thing, building memories, interacting, having someone to care for. That's life for me.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, Rich. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. It was so great connecting, and I'm happy to hear that we might get a glimpse of you in some future episodes.
I hope so.